Morning, everybody. Fucking head is pounding like a bitch. I haven't had a migraine like this in like a year or two. It hurts bad. I fucking didn't do yoga last night. I got that falafel last night, ate half of it, got nauseous as fuck. If it wasn't the food, it was just I'm overwhelmed. I overwork my body. Um, I'm always pushing. Um, That's why I do so much yoga. I do so much physical activity. Otherwise, I'd be fucked. Fucking woke up this morning, wanted to smoke a joint. I'm at my brother's. I went to my brother's house last night. It was cold as fuck last night. I didn't want to sleep in the car. And I had that food. I had half that food. And I'm like, fuck this. My brother don't ever eat good. So I took him, got a call on me, answered. I was surprised. I told him, look, I got this food. I'm coming over. He said, all right. So he ate good, and I woke up. That kid that's been staying over there, he likes drugs, but he seems to have trying to keep his life together. He's got a running vehicle, which is rare for a dope addict. That's very rare. It's very hard to keep a car when you're like that. Which tells you he's somewhat intelligent. I could tell he's an intelligent kid. But that's the problem. He's just a kid. So I asked him for a paper this morning. He's rolling a blunt. I'm like, you got any papers? He's like, yeah, I got a paper. He hands me the fucking cardboard. It's like, man, I already rolled it. So I'm like, dude, you don't have raw papers or anything? He's like, I'm like, yeah, you only smoke blunts. But I don't know what it is, but all people that smoke crack, they always have these papers. I don't know what it is. Listen, I haven't smoked any whites or bugles or anything like that in a long time. Actually, no, I did it about a month ago. A couple months ago at that house. Somebody gave me one of these papers. It was terrible. But my head hurts. I can't. This will help me with a headache. I'm waiting for my fucking atomoxetine to kick in that I took today. I know that's what it is. It's that, and because I didn't get up at 5 o'clock this morning, I did. I said, fuck that. I'm going back to bed. I'm taking advantage of this. Which I did. I didn't get up out of bed till 8:30. That's not like me. Also have a lot on my mind. I can't believe a truck just got taken from me. And I allowed it. Crazy, dude. Blows my motherfucking mind. How people are. It's funny. I don't even know if the state has it, if the impound has it. Somebody could have stole that bitch. They didn't have no motor on it. You could have just pushed it off. Everybody knew that too. People on the internet, all that shit. I bet you it's probably stolen. If it ain't in the impound lot, I guarantee someone stole my truck. Which, honestly, I don't even care no more. I don't. It's one fucking less thing I gotta worry about. I don't have nowhere to put it unless I sell it. It won't fit in my storage unit. The storage unit don't have any more spaces. Nor can I afford to go buy a storage space right the second. I gotta pay my car insurance. I haven't even paid my car insurance. It's due like now, and I haven't paid it. Don't have the money. That money I have put up, I won't touch it. That money is only for a boat, period. Which, there's actually a boat for sale in Ohio, and it's fully loaded. They want $32,000 for it. I was thinking about posting it on my Facebook, but then people can see it, they can buy it. It's called a Hunter 27X. It's in Ohio. It's on Lake Erie. It's red and white. It's a beautiful boat. Well taken care of, always waxed, always taken out of the water, well taken care of. The sails, the mast, everything is just, it's nice. And they already did what it is that I would have to do on the Catalina, which is take the gasoline motor off and put a diesel on it. I gotta have a diesel motor. It's gotta be a diesel motor on my sailboat. I cannot sail around the world without a diesel motor. And there's only two motors I'm interested in. A Morgan and or a Volvo Penta. Those are the only two motors I'll ever have on my boat. Other than outboards and whatnot. Unless I put a Cummins in it. It's possible I would put a Cummins in there, but let me tell you, Volvo Penta motors are the best motors in the world. Ford Volvo Penta motors, they're the most desirable motors on the water. One of many. Because the parts, you get them internationally. You can get them anywhere in all the countries. They're supported in Europe. They're supported here. And they were designed to last. They were designed for marine use, you know? These companies know, that you're out in the water, you can die. You can drown. So therefore they engineer really high quality stuff. So does this place. This place engineers really high quality marijuana. It smells so good, dude. This pot, I'm telling you, this bud. So I went to my brother's house last night, right? They're all excited to show me some bud that they got from the 315, which is on Michigan Avenue, which is shit, by the way. I hate that place. It's ran like a trap spot. I'm trying to go to a dispensary and enjoy myself and have an experience. I'm not trying to be let in and, what do you want? Like I'm being served. The fuck? If I wanted to go be served, I'd go to the hood and go get served the real shit. Like, what the fuck is wrong with people, dude? That's why that place doesn't get much business, though, either, compared to the Flower Bowl. The Flower Bowl be slapping. Because it's a real open door business. Double shots of espresso, well worth it. $9 for this coffee today. $9 and something cents. $9.47. $10 coffee. But I needed it, man. I needed it. There's nothing, I'm telling you, there's nothing better than a vanilla latte. Just a Starbucks latte, and it's that machine and the beans they use. I'm telling you. It's just got that bitter, it's that bitter coffee taste. I love it. That dark, black, bitter taste. When you taste that, you know you're off. You're gone. All right. Now that I'm buzzing, things are kicking in. You spend time with God. God knows my weak point. God knows where it is that I struggle with. And I'm thankful because he gives me the strength not to go gangbang and fucking go terrorize the neighborhood, the streets. I was bad. Listen, I was bad. It was bad. Listen, man, I was the motherfucker you called in the family. I come running to, listen, man, I come flying 100 miles an hour, drive my car right into the house, hop out the bitch, talk about who is it, where they at, and just start popping. I'm not lying. You can ask any of my family. I'm a fucking nutcase. The government did it. The streets did it. The birth of John the Baptist. Now the time came for Elizabeth to give birth, and she bore a son. This is John the Baptist, the fucking crazy motherfucker that was telling everybody they better stop fucking being fucking stupid and change their ways. Listen, he was a no-filter dude. Says now the time came for Elizabeth. She's screaming in the house, fucking having John. Her neighbors and relatives heard the Lord and had shown great mercy to her, and they rejoiced with her. And on the 8th day, they came to circumcise the child. They came to circumcise John, which is really healthy, actually. To be uncircumcised on the penis is actually really unhygienic. That's why they do it. Just so you know. All right. And on the 8th day, they came to circumcise the child, and they would have called him Zechariah, after his father. But his mother answered, "No, he shall be called John." And they said to her, "None of your relatives is called by his name." And they made signs to his father, inquiring what he wanted him to be called. And he asked for a writing tablet and wrote, "His name is John." And they all wondered, and immediately his mouth was opened and his tongue loosed, and he spoke, blessing God. And fear came on all their neighbors, and all these things were talked about through all the hill country of Judea. And all who heard them laid them up in their hearts, saying, "What then will this child be? For the hand of the Lord was with him." So they didn't know that. It's crazy that they didn't know what the name was going to be, and he wrote John. And what's crazy because it was foretold. It was written in the Old Testament. Isaiah, all these prophets said that there will be a son that will be born of Elizabeth named John. And here's this guy, right, that can't speak. God stopped him from speaking, and here he is writing it down on a tablet of clay, telling everybody that his son's name is going to be John. And everybody was just profound. They were like, "No way, this can't be fucking happening," because they read about it. They were told about it. It was, what I mean. They were, people held this knowledge, the sacred knowledge to their heart. So, everybody was happy. They knew that John was something special, right? So it says, Zechariah's prophecy. And his father Zechariah was filled with the Holy Spirit and prophesied, saying, so, right, as soon as John was born, everything happened, Zechariah, profited. He prophetically spoke in spirit of truth, because he's consciously, his heart is in it, right? This is what he said. He said, "Blessed be the Lord God of Israel, for he has visited and redeemed his people, and has raised up a horn of salvation for us, and the house of his servant David. And he spoke by the mouth of his holy prophets from of old, that we should be saved from our enemies, and from the hand of all who hate us, to show the mercy promised to our fathers, and to remember his holy covenant, the oath that he swore to our father Abraham to grant us, that we, being delivered from the hand of our enemies, might serve him without fear, in holiness and righteousness, before him all our days. And you, child, will be called the prophet of the Most High, for you will go before the Lord to prepare his ways, to give knowledge of salvation to his people, in the forgiveness of their sins, because of the tender mercy of our God, whereby the sunrise shall visit us from on high, to give light to those who sit in darkness and in the shadow of death, to guide our feet into the way of peace. Sorry, awareness, um, he, he, uh, he blessed his child. It was already in his heart. Those seeds were already planted in his heart. He's already been working for God. He already confessed and said that my son will be working for God. I don't care. I will make sure my kid will do is what I just said. And it says, and the child grew and became strong in spirit. And he was in the wilderness until the day of his public appearance of Israel. So this guy was really hard in this. John was not only was he blessed before the womb, he was blessed in the womb, right? We read before that when Mary met Elizabeth to come see her, John was jumping around in Elizabeth's stomach. Elizabeth was like, what the fuck? Why is my kid jumping around like this? Crazy. So the birth of Jesus Christ, chapter 2. So we are reading Luke chapter 2, Luke 2:7. The birth of Jesus Christ. So John is already born. John was already in the wilderness, right? Already in the spirit, telling everybody the truth, telling everybody, putting everybody in their place, helping everybody that, is willing to help themselves, want to know the light, and he's out in the wilderness meditating, doing yoga, practicing these different type of, mantras and writing scripture. He's learning, he's reading all the history. That's why I read the Bible, because the Bible is a clear description. It's a clear written description of everything that has happened, everything that has ever been known in this world. Why wouldn't you want to read it? It doesn't make any sense to me. Why people, they just, situation happened, last night. And I care about this person. I know this person has a very good heart. And that person was quick to tell me how their family forced it down the throat. And everybody says that. I don't believe it. But we'll go. In the days of the decree, when I'm not saying that person didn't have it. I'm just saying, come on, everybody. It's. I hear it so often that it's their number one go-to. It's their just defense mechanism of simply talking about something they don't really want to talk about, and then because they don't know nothing of it, so they'll say this, and then they'll go ahead and say that, I don't believe in religion. Jesus is not a religion. God is not a religion. I don't know why everybody tries to put God into a religion. People don't even know what the definition of religion is anyways. Stupid. It says, in the days the birth of Jesus Christ. So Jesus was born. In those days, a decree went out from Caesar Augustus that all the world should be registered. People tend to forget that Jesus was born not too long ago. 2,000 years ago, in the span of time, is not that long. It's not, right? Our calendar starts at the birth of Christ, right? That's what we follow. BC, birth of Christ. That's what it stands for, right? We're 2033, right? 2032, about to be 2033. 2,000 years ain't that much, really, if you think about it. It's really not. But if you think about it too, right? 2,000 years is a long time. Think about it. I've been here for 33 and I'm hoping to live another 33, right? I feel old already. I can't imagine all these people that were living 800 years, 900 years, which was possible. It is still possible if God allows you to, but God clearly says in the Bible he stopped that shit. He quit it. He was tired of it. He stopped. It says right here in the Bible that he made it to where everybody can not live past 120. You can only live up to 120. That's what the Bible says. But people used to live before that, which makes sense because they knew the sacred knowledge. They knew to meditate. They knew to quiet their mind. They knew to spend time breathing in the air. They knew to stay away from bad stuff, all these fake foods and stuff. They didn't have all this processed shit back then. They ate healthy. They lived in the wilderness. They ran around running. They were built. They were cut. They were like this. You know what I'm saying? They were like this. From day one, their whole life. That's why they lived long, because they were in the spirit of God. They didn't have bad thoughts to depress them and suppress them. That's what kills you. They didn't have a guilty conscience. That's what kills you. That's what makes you sick. So, we'll go read. I need to blow my nose. Bad. It's itching. I know I have some fucking paper towel in here from last night. I do. I'm so fucking dehydrated. All I've been drinking is coffee for the last 4 days. I haven't been drinking any water. Which I mentioned in another video. Why I fast for many things, you know. And also why I don't drink water for a few days at a time. I would not drink any fluid if I could, but since I have to do all this working and physical activity, I gotta put something to stay alive. But I've been telling everybody how. I'll get back to reading in a second. I've been telling everybody how there's fluid in your spinal cord, in your spine, and the base right here. They call it Christos in Latin. The Egyptians even knew about it. You know, they studied the human anatomy. The reason why I don't drink water or any fluids as much as possible, like I try to refrain from it. When you start getting dehydrated, right, your body starts burning up everything. You're not eating, you're fasting, right? You're burning up stuff, right? You can feel it in your head. You can almost feel like, you can tell you're off, you know what I mean? Like your body's straining, right? But what happens is your muscles get tight, you know, you get sore, you cramp up, right? That fluid that's in your spine, when you stretch, when you're doing all these yoga practices, right? And you're reaching for your toes and stuff, right? By not drinking any water, by not eating any food, you're depleting all the bad stuff and you're getting all the toxins out, right? You're also helping that fluid come out. You want that fluid to not be watered down, not be, you know, all those different chemicals from all the different crazy foods that we eat and all that shit. All that stuff's got to come out. And the only way to come out is simply by fasting, simply by not eating. And then you have to do physical activity to burn it, to get it out, sweat it out. And you'll smell it. You can smell it. You can smell the difference. You can smell it in your clothes when you stop smoking and whatnot, even though I still smoke marijuana. So, you know, I still can smell, but not as much as somebody would smell, you know, normally if they didn't smoke at all. But I smoke the marijuana because it helps with the physical pain. It helps with the headaches because I do take substances, right? Other substances that I shouldn't be taking, really, honestly. I justify it to use it to accomplish a mean, right? Um, the side effects are worth dealing with to me, um, because it allows me to be more. I could pump out more. You know, I can get more productive. It's that simple. Um, and if I were to smoke marijuana just by itself, I wouldn't be as productive. Um, the atomoxetine really helps me clear up my mental fog. Um, and I know a lot of it has to do with drinking the coffee and smoking the marijuana and taking the atomoxetine. You know what I mean? You know, because once you take it, you almost always have a mental fog without it, in a sense. You get what I'm saying? So you kind of have to learn to deal with it, in a sense, if you're willing to deal with it. Um, but to come off the atomoxetine isn't nearly as bad as Adderall. Um, that's why I take it. I could go get Adderall. I just choose not to. It's too much. It's too much of a stimulant. I don't need that. I'm not trying to be high like that all day, not eat and just no. It's not who I am. It's not what I want. Um, the atomoxetine, it clears up that mental fog. It helps with focus, but it doesn't have me fucking zooted like that. You get what I'm saying? Where I'm high, like I'm floating like that. You know. Um, so that's why I take it, and also I don't get irritable without it. That type of stuff. Um, it's just easier on the body. It's easier on the mental. It's more forgiving substance in a sense. Um, it's not as toxic, right? That's why I prefer it. And it works a little different as well. Um, it works on the same receptors as Adderall does, but more on the epinephrine, more on the front lobe here, which is where most people have addiction issues, because of this right here. Um, I'm not saying to take it. That's not what I'm saying. If you can live without any substances, that's amazing, and that's what I strive to do. I work really, really hard to not take the medication if I don't have to, right? Um, and whatnot. But you have to understand that you have to have things every day as well. I gotta have water every day, food every day in a sense, unless I'm fasting, right? So people will sit there like, oh, I don't ever want to do that stuff again, blah, blah, blah. I'll never drink coffee again. It's not that you don't have a problem with coffee, man. It's you don't have a purpose. You got to find a purpose in something, and you got to find a way to structure yourself, to discipline yourself. And that's where the fasting comes in, the meditation and the yoga, because you're physically having to take time away to meditate, to go and sit still. You know how hard it is to sit still when you got an itch. As soon as you start meditating and try not to, I focus on one thing, you start itching everywhere. You can't sit still. That helps so much with self-control. And that's what it is. Most people don't have self-control. Um, they don't have any type of foundation as a child, um, which we'll be getting into that. I'll be making videos about that, which if you go to my very, very first video, my testimony of Jesus Christ, which actually got me most of my followers, believe it or not. My first 50 followers were really because of that testimony, which was really impressive to me. Um, and it was a half an hour video too, which people actually watched it. But There's no better solid foundation to stand on than God's word, Jesus' word, right? And the reason why I say this, because any code, anything that you follow that is man-made, even one that has been written by man, right? Like the Bible, it's been written by man, but in the spirit of love, in the spirit of God, right? It can change. It's manipulated. It doesn't have necessarily God involved in it, right? I'm not saying that not every code is like that, but most people's beliefs, their ideas, their code, the way they follow life has no value, no significance, no um, thought, higher thought put into it. And that's why I follow Jesus' law, because Jesus' law remains eternal, remains mute, right? This book, everything that is written is still going to be here even when I pass away, if I die, right? It doesn't change either. All these promises, everything that has been said, doesn't change, won't switch up on you. You can always count on these words being true. So this is why I bank myself, I bank my whole life, and I glorify God and Jesus and everything I do, because I know if I do this, not only will everything work out according to God's will, Romans 8:28, that everything that I do will last eternal. I'm not worried about possessions here on this earth. I think about them and I use them to glorify God and to obtain whatever it is I need, physically or monetarily on this earth to teach people who God is and who what family is and truth and love, right? I yell, I scream, I kick my feet like a child. Sometimes I have to, in front of certain people, because certain people only learn that certain way. That's how they were taught. It's like this, right? Put it this way, right? This is how people learn, and this is why people are fucked up, because people aren't the parents aren't teaching the children. They're overwhelmed with the situation. This is how it goes. It's just an example, right? You got 10 fucking kids all screaming at dinner, right? I want food, I want food, I want food, right? The mom's cooking overwhelmed. What do you think she's gonna do? She's gonna give the kid that's fucking loudest, that's fucking being obnoxious, the food first, just so he shut the fuck up. And what does that kid learn? To be loud and obnoxious, and that's what he'll get. He'll get what he wants. And that's how most households are ran. I've seen it many times. And that's where the error is. There's no structure, no nothing. The belief, the idea of life or what life is scarred. It's evil. So in the days of decree went out from Caesar Augustus that all the world should be registered. He did a census, which God didn't care for anybody doing a census in the Old Testament. He was pissed. But it says this was the first registration when Quirinius was governor of Syria, and all went to be registered, each of his own town. And Joseph also went up from Galilee, from the town of Nazareth to Judea, to the city of David, which is called Bethlehem, because he was of the house and lineage of David, to be registered with Mary, his betrothed, who was with child, Jesus. And while they were there, the time came for her to give birth, and she gave birth to her firstborn son, and wrapped him in a swaddling cloths and laid him in a manger, because there was no place for them in the inn. So they were staying basically at a prostitute fucking motel, where they game, they have all that shit. And that AMG sounds sexy. That GT63, I think that's what it said, which is my number. The AMG sounds sexy. It sounds real nice. Listen, I know when nice cars sound good. But whatever motors in that car, the AMG is really, 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 really well engineered. There it goes. Yeah, listen, man. When a motor sings like that, a motor should run like like a thread thing, you know. A motor should run like a sewing machine. It should be quiet and efficient. It shouldn't be barking and all that other shit. I promise you. Those V8s, they put out a lot of power, but they're inefficient. An inline motor is always going to be better than a V8 because it's balanced more. You got pistons that are opposing. They're you got weight. You got weight being thrown, gravity, forces, going against each other. That's why those V8s have that big harmonic balancer in the middle that spins counterclockwise, clockwise, whatever, to keep it from vibrating. It dampens the vibration. Otherwise, the fucking motor would just vibrate, rip apart. That's why, like Japanese motors, those boxer motors, they're opposing motors, or two pistons that go like this. They balance each other out. They're one of the best motors ever. The only thing that sucks, which there goes a Subaru right there, is since the pistons are like this, gravity pulls them down, they tend to wear out on the bottom of the piston. So, Jesus, Mary and her man, Joseph thought, she was pregnant by him. No, actually, he didn't even sleep with her. That's right. He didn't sleep with her yet. They didn't even get married yet. And he was wondering why she's pregnant. And he thought that she cheated on him. But, they were told by Caesar they got to go. Everybody's got to go register. And since he was part of David, the lineage, he had to register. Otherwise he could get in trouble. So that's why they left. They were told they have to travel to go register. So the shepherds and the angels. So they put Jesus in a manger and a swaddling of cloth because they didn't have no room in the inn. The inn was full. So they were outside, out in the cold. The shepherds and the angels, it says. And in the same region, there were shepherds out in the field, keeping watch over their flock by night. And an angel of the Lord appeared to them, and the glory of the Lord shone around them, and they were filled with great fear. And the angel said to them, "Fear not, for behold, I bring you good news of great joy that will be for all the people. For unto you is born this day in the city of David a Savior, who is Christ the Lord. And this will be a sign for you. You will find a baby wrapped in swaddling clothes, lying in a manger." And suddenly there was with the angel a multitude of the heavenly host praising God and saying, "Glory to the God in the highest, and on earth peace among those with whom he is pleased." So they're saying that here is Jesus, a baby wrapped in cloth. Mary and Joseph are on the outside of the inn, right? Not too far away in the fields, right? There were shepherds that were shepherding sheep that had a relationship with God, that talked to God, that worshiped God, that knew the law. They followed the law. It says that angels from the sky, a big light, came down and told them this. Said, "Go get this baby. Go. There's gonna be a baby. Go get him." It's crazy. And it says that they even wrote down that it says that all the angels were singing, glory to the God in the highest, and on earth peace among those with whom he is pleased. So they were blessing the earth. They were saying, whoever on this earth, if they bring peace and they worship God, peace be among them. He will be pleased. He is well pleased with them. It says, when the angels went away from them into heaven, the shepherds said to one another, Let us go over to Bethlehem and see this thing that has happened, which the Lord has made known to us. They were scared at first, but then they were like, oh shit, we're special. God just came to us and told us to go look at this kid, to go see what this is. Fuck yeah, we're going. And it says, and they went with haste and found Mary and Joseph and the baby lying in a manger. And when they saw it, they made known the saying that had been told them concerning the child. And all who heard it wondered and what the shepherds told them. Or they all wondered what the shepherds told them. But Mary treasured up all these things, pondering them in her heart. And the shepherds returned, glorifying and praising God for all they have heard and seen as it had been told to them. And at the end of the 8 days, when he was circumcised, Jesus was circumcised, he was called Jesus, the name given by the angel before he was conceived in the womb. So there it is, the Old Testament being fulfilled, prophecies being fulfilled. All these words that have been spoken of, that have been recorded on paper, passed down from family to family, lineage to lineage for all this time, thousands of years. Here it is, the stuff coming true. It's happening. And then it says, Jesus presented at the temple. And when the time came for their purification according to the law of Moses, they brought him up to Jerusalem to present him to the Lord, as it is written in the law of the Lord, the Old Testament. Every male who first opens the womb shall be called holy to the Lord, and to offer a sacrifice according to what is said in the law of the Lord, which is Leviticus. You got to read Leviticus, which is the law book. It says, a pair of turtle doves or 2 young pigeons. It says every male who is first opens the womb shall be called holy to the Lord. So the first male that comes out of a woman is holy considered and should be always offered to the Lord. That's what the old law said, Leviticus. They were supposed to be basically a priest, or they were supposed to serve the Lord, and to offer a sacrifice according to what is said in the law of the Lord, a pair of turtle doves or 2 young pigeons, according to what they could afford, right? It says, now there was a man in Jerusalem whose name was Simeon, and this man was righteous and devout, waiting for the consolation of Israel, and the Holy Spirit was upon him. And it had been revealed to him by the Holy Spirit that he would not see death before he had seen Lord Jesus Christ. So here he is, knowing this, looking for him, right? And he came in the Spirit into the temple, and when the parents brought in the child Jesus to do for him according to the custom of the law, he took him up in his arms and blessed God. And he blessed him, he said this, he spoke over him, over the child, right? He prayed over the child. He spoke love, sacred knowledge. It says, Lord, now you are letting your servant depart in peace according to your word. For my eyes have seen your salvation, that you have prepared in the presence of all peoples, a light for revelation to the Gentiles, and for glory to your people, Israel. So literally he said, not only is this person here to bring the good salvation to the Gentiles, which is all other people other than Israel, and then glory to Israel. So he's literally saying salvation isn't just for Israel. Salvation is for everyone. When they speak of Gentiles, they're speaking of all people, all creation on this earth. Okay? That's what the translation really is meaning. And his father and his mother marveled at what was said about him. So you got Joseph and Mary like, what the fuck just happened? Like, is this really happening? Is this really our child? Is this really Jesus? Is this really the salvation of the world? And it said that Mary cherished it. She held it in her heart deeply. And his father and his mother marveled at what was said about him. And Simon, blessed them and said to Mary, his mother, behold, this child is appointed for the fall and rising of many in Israel, and for a sign that is opposed, and a sword will pierce through your own soul also, so that thoughts from many hearts may be revealed. Listen to what he said. He literally just said that all the hearts, souls will be confessing. It'll be a sign, a sword will pierce through their soul so that they may confess, and everything shall be revealed. Everything in the world will be revealed through this one person. says, and there was a prophetess, Anna, the daughter of Phanuel, of the tribe of Asher. She was advanced in years. She was old, having lived with her husband 7 years from when she was a virgin, and then as a widow until she was 84. She did not depart from the temple, worshiping with fasting and prayer night and day. She could listen, man. This woman solely gave herself to God, to the service of the temple of worship for everyone that came to help them to find purification, to find the truth, to learn what is of God, right? And it says, and coming up at that very hour, she began to give thanks to God and to speak of him to all who were waiting for the redemption of Jerusalem. It's crazy. So we're gonna read up to chapter 3, and then I'm gonna run to my grandma's house because it's getting 46 minutes. I gotta try to get some brakes on this car before work. Go see my cat. It says well, for delivering pizza, and I gotta get on the computer. I really don't even like delivering pizza because it keeps me tied up, but that's the only way to feed myself right now. I gotta be able to pay for insurance, which I can't even do that right now because people fucking me over. But God always listen, man. All that stuff that just happened, it's all gonna be returned to me triple, quadruple fold. Guarantee it. You will see. It says the return to Nazareth. And when they had performed everything according to the law of the Lord, they returned into Galilee to their own town of Nazareth. And the child grew and became strong, filled with wisdom, and the favor of God was upon him. It says the boy Jesus in the temple. So Jesus is now running around the temple as a child, as a toddler, right? As a kid. It says now his parents went to Jerusalem every year at the feast of the Passover. They made this travel. It was a custom, just like people go on vacations and stuff. This is what they enjoyed doing. This is what they did. It says, and when he was 12 years old, they went up according to custom. And when the feast was ended, as they were returning, the boy Jesus stayed behind in Jerusalem. His parents did not know it, but supposing him to be in the group, traveling with everybody, they went a day's journey. But then they began to search for him among the relatives and acquaintances. Jesus stayed back at the temple, didn't even say anything. His parents left thinking that Jesus was going to be with everybody, like always, everybody's watching them. Nobody paid attention. They left. They walked the whole day on foot and then realized their son is gone. Like, what the fuck? They came back. It says that when they did not find him, they returned to Jerusalem searching for him. After 3 days, they thinking their kid's lost, right? After 3 days, they found him in the temple sitting among the teachers. Here's Jesus, a child, sitting with grown men in the temple, right? Listening to them and asking them questions. And all who heard him were amazed at his understanding and his answers. And when his parents saw him, they were astonished. And his mother said to him, Son, why have you treated us so? Behold, your father and I have been searching for you in great distress. Why did you run away? And he said to them, Jesus replied back to them as a child, a young man, saying this to them, right? It says, why were you looking for me? Did you not know that I must be in my father's house? So here he is already saying in the spirit, you're not my parents. The only father I have is up above. Did you not understand this? Did you not know this from the beginning? You were already told that I was born of the spirit. And what's funny is he knew this. He knew it in his heart already. It was already in his heart. Just like everybody already knows who they are in their heart. They know that they're not gay. They know that they're not, bisexual. They know that it is wrong. That is their way of justifying their reasons to accept their behavior to make them feel consciously okay. And it's not okay. Just so everyone knows. But it says, and they did not understand the saying that he spoke to them, and they were like, what? Because that God doesn't always reveal every truth to every single person, all the same truths, because he has purpose for each person. So he can't let everyone know everything, because then the evil one would know, right? It says, and he went down with them and came to Nazareth and was submissive to them. He felt bad. He understood that, okay, they don't understand who it is I am. They don't understand what it is I'm going to be doing. So now I must come down and show them the way, in a sense, he was being submissive, allowing the mother to be a mother, but in a way to say, it's time for me to grow. It's time, I'm an adult. It's time for me to move on. And I had that problem with my parents. My dad always told me what to do, wanted to tell me what to do. That's why he left, because I told him I'm tired of this. I'm a grown man. I want to have my own family with my wife. I don't want to live with you. What is wrong with you? And same, like when I go over to my grandma's house, that's what my uncle does. That's why I don't understand. Like I get upset with him. He talks to me like I'm a fucking child, like Hitler. Like, come in, grab your food, and get out. Like that's or fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger. That's what I just sounded like. But seriously, like what the fuck? That's all he does, and he doesn't have a conversation with you or nothing. And that's what like Jesus just realized. Like the parents still wanted to be parents, and he realized that. So he had to come there and say, hey, like he allowed them to still be parents. And it says, and his mother treasured up all these things in her heart. And Jesus increased in wisdom and in stature and in favor with God and man, because Jesus didn't condemn her for wanting to still be a mother. He simply told her, like, look, it's time for me to move on, and she cherished it, instead of like my father, that didn't cherish it, told me that I'm fucked up and I'm stupid for wanting to be an adult. Don't make any sense to me. And the phone's freezing up. So, and I'm done chapter 2. So, I'm going to upload this. Hopefully y'all hear me still.